Yeah, hi, Sarpreet. Nick Stoll here from SBS Australia. I just wanted to know you played it with in a very talented team last year in Wellington with a lot of good young players. Is there anyone from that team that you think could also make the step up to Europe? Obviously, you've made the step up and you know what it takes to go to Europe. Is there anyone like there? Maybe Kakache, you played with Burgess as well. He's having a good season in Australia. Any of your ex teammates you think could make that step up?
think I think there's a lot of good players in the A League, and especially younger players now, and I think a lot of them are getting their chances from how I've been keeping track back home. And yeah, for me, definitely Kakachi. I think he's bound to get a move somewhere after the season he's had. So yeah, I mean, I hope for him, because it's good if you want to play football at the highest level, you have to be in Europe. It's as simple as that. And the quicker I guess you can make the step, but make sure it's the right one. I think yeah, it's definitely going to go well for him, and he's definitely capable of I guess his potential's like very high. So it's definitely possible. But there's also other boys, Callum McCall, for example. I think he's been coming on doing well recently, and I think yeah, for sure, everyone. I think there's a lot of young boys that can cut it in Europe for sure, but at the same time, it's not so easy. It's cutthroat, and you have to be strong to survive. Otherwise, yeah, like I mean, nothing's handed to you, and you're in a completely different environment. You don't speak the language of the country, and your family's not with you. It takes a lot mentally, but I think in football, the strongest one survives. So, yeah, I definitely think the A League's a perfect platform for young players to play and then make the step up to Europe for sure.
Risha, please, your question.
Hi, Sarpreet. You've been training with players like Philippe Coutinho and Thomas Müller, who freely made the attacking midfield their position. What have you learned from them, and even off the pitch, like how have they helped you in terms of integrating into the team?
Yeah, I mean, you learn a lot being at one of the best clubs in the world, and for me, that's how I take this experience, and to try and learn as much as possible. And yeah, like you said, in the number 10 positions or even out wide, we've got some of the world's best players. And for me, the most, I guess the thing I see the most about it is the professionalism in these boys. Day in, day out, they turn up to training, they work hard. It's always the same every day, and I think consistency is the key if you want to get higher in football, because these guys have been doing it for so long that they're just drilled. They do the same thing every day, come into training, they do their prehab before training, then we have training, then after training they're training again. It's incredible how much hard work that they've put into getting where they are. But at the same time, it gives me a lot of motivation, because that's where I want to be essentially. And yeah, so I learn a lot from them on the field for sure, and off the field as well. It's very nice being able to talk to players and learn about their experiences and how they've dealt with things through football and on and off the pitch. So no, it's I'm truly blessed.
Andrew McNichol, please.
Hi, Sarpreet. This is Andrew from South China Morning Post. Thanks for your time. You mentioned there's global superstars from everywhere in the team. I'm just wondering, since there's not as many from New Zealand and India, do your teammates ever ask you about kind of cultural differences, or inquire about your heritage, or do you exchange stories about your upbringing and past? Thank you.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I guess coming from the background I do with New Zealand and India, it's I guess so far it's not really that common in Europe to be a footballer. And I hope they can change, and there's more and more coming from both countries. It'll be good to see, and I'm sure there's a lot of capable people. So I hope that it can all work out for people if they put in the work and believe in themselves. But yeah, I mean, all the boys always inquire about it, and they're always interested to know, because for example, they find it crazy that I have to fly 30, 40 hours just to get home. Like for them, it's incredible, because everything's in Europe, and it's a 1 hour flight to go to a different country. So yeah, I've gotten to know them a lot more as the course of the season goes, and yeah, like I feel really really good amongst the group and comfortable as well. And yeah, so yeah, they do talk about it and want to know about my background and how I'm going, and they look out for me at the same time. You know, it's so important that these senior players, they're so easy to talk to. You know, and yeah, it's really nice to have.
My question is about your Indian roots. Basically, can you speak a bit about your Indian roots and how often do you visit India? And you know, do you know a bit about the Indian Super League? And again, would you be interested in playing for India if an opportunity arrives? And like a bit of nuggets about India, basically. Like, do you have spicy Indian food at home, which would prove detrimental to your diet? So if you could
Yeah,
just
so
elaborate on it, yeah.
yeah, obviously I grew up in a Punjabi family, so yeah, I mean I grew up my whole life eating Punjabi food and Indian food, so I do miss it sometimes, and yeah, I've been to India I think 3 times now. A couple times I was younger, but a few years ago I was there for football, and we actually played against the Indian national team, which was it's quite interesting, but it was good. No, for sure. I think out of India there's a lot of good players, and I have some friends that play in the Indian Super League, and well, Roy Krishna is one of them. So, and for me he's like an older brother to me, and he always guides me to. He's always there for me, and he was guiding me in Wellington, and we still keep in contact all the time. So, and he tells me about how professional I guess the league is, and he was quite surprised with it, but at the same time, I guess he was really into it, and yeah, he thinks the level's good, and I hope that it can keep developing and get better and better, and so yeah, maybe who knows in the future one day.
Being of Indian ethnicity and everything, like there's a whole lot of in football particularly these days, there's a whole lot of issue with racism and everything. So have you ever faced any kind of such kind of racism uh, with you, like any kind of incidents? And how does your teammates at Bayern and elsewhere react?
Oh, for me, I mean, I grew up in New Zealand, and it's a pretty multicultural country. So, I guess, yeah, I didn't really face any racism or any problems. So, yeah, for me, it's not been a problem, and I hope for everyone it's never a problem, because it's not something that should be a problem, and yeah.
Sarpreet, I don't know if you're from a generation that's a little bit too young, but what have you made of working with a World Cup legend like Miroslav Klose? Were you familiar with his exploits, and how's it been working with him in the team?
Yeah, it's incredible. I mean, yeah, I think I'm truly blessed. Well, what's happened to the screen? Oh, no, it's there. Yeah, I think I'm truly blessed. I don't remember too much about it, but I do know he's one of the world's best strikers, and for German national team or wherever he played, he was an absolute gun. So yeah, so for me, I've been working with him closely, and it's good to, I guess, he works with the younger boys a lot. He's come from the under-17, so he understands how to develop, I guess, the young players, and yeah, for me it's incredible. I was speaking to him a lot yesterday, and to be able to work with someone like that is actually it's incredible. But I learn a lot from him also, so it's a fantastic opportunity for me, and yeah.
Hi, Sarpreet. Yeah, just going on from that last question about the kind of generation. You're part of a new wave of footballers, and you're probably getting flooded in your DMs by lots of fans from India and Asia, around the world, New Zealand as well. As like a poster boy, and you're breaking barriers, what kind of advice do you impart on them, aside from work hard and keep believing in yourself? Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, for me, that's the biggest thing. I mean, it's so like I guess everyone says it, that you should work hard and believe in yourself, but like it's something you have to do. It's one thing like saying it, but I think if you really want to get to a good level or get to the top, it's something that's it's a no-brainer, you know. And I think another big thing is sacrifice, you know. If you want to get to where you want to get to and achieve your dreams, you have to make a lot of sacrifices on the way. I mean, everyone who's got into where they are have had to make some sort of sacrifice. So for me, that's important, you know. Like for me, I'm away from my family the whole time, and it's sometimes it's not easy, but I see the bigger picture and why I do this. You know, you have to do it for the people you love, and I think. But in terms of giving advice to someone, I think, you have to work hard, but at the same time, enjoy working hard, you know, like it's a fun job. It's for someone growing up who wants to have it as a full-time job. I mean, there's nothing better in the world to do. So for me, like, you have to understand that, one, you have to work hard, but at the same time, it's enjoyable. And then once you do make it, hopefully, then it just gets better and better. And there's no limit to where you can reach, you know. And I think that's very important for people in New Zealand and Australia and India and stuff, because I think often you look to Europe and you're like, that's where I want to be, but for some reason it's difficult. But I think it's not, you know. I think if you want it bad enough and you work hard enough, and the right thing comes up, then I think there's no question that everyone can excel. And once you're in a good environment, then you can kick on and do even better. And then you never know what your potential is, because I genuinely believe there's a lot of good players that, you know, I've been in both environments now, so I understand and what I see. So I think definitely there's huge potential in those countries.
And any message for Indian supporters of Bayern Munich, especially in the local language, you can give a message to them.
In language?
In the local language, like Hindi or Punjabi, if you can speak a bit.
If I could say something to the supporters in Punjabi, it's difficult. But I just hope they can support us and keep with us.
Nick Stoll will be next, please.
Yeah, hi, Sarpreet. I just wanted to ask, obviously, traditionally, Australia and New Zealand are great rivals on the sporting field. New Zealand, you know, you're among a kind of young generation of players that are coming up and really exciting prospects for New Zealand. Where would you, and Australia's maybe regressing a little bit at the moment, where would you see kind of the All Whites v the Socceroos right now? If they were to play a match, would you consider yourselves favourites, or you know, where would the balance be?
100% we're favourites, but look, I mean, like you said, there's a lot of good players coming out of both countries, but I think, yeah, definitely out of New Zealand. The way I look at it, the boys are getting more minutes and they're playing at a good level. And even when you do look at some of the Australian boys, but you have Dane Ingham, for example, who's Kiwi, so he's doing really well as well. But no, I'm really excited about what's happening with our national team. You know, I think it's a really exciting time, and with all the players that are coming through and making their marks, you know, I really think we can show the way and show how we want to play football in New Zealand. And yeah, I mean, feel free to organise a game against us, and then we'll be there. So, and then we'll see what happens. But yeah, I mean, I'm really happy with what's happening in New Zealand for sure.
Philip, please. Philip Rollo.
Yes, Sarpreet, obviously you'd been in the matchday squad a whole bunch prior to your first start. Just wanted to kind of talk about that game. Like, how delighted were you to kind of make that milestone of finally getting your first start for Bayern Munich in a competitive game, and how comfortable did you kind of feel out there as well?
Yeah, I mean, I was training really good, so I was really pushing, and the team were happy with me. But you know, it didn't happen as I guess maybe I thought I could have had a chance earlier on. But at the same time, you have to accept that and take that from what the coach decides to do. And when you get your chance, you have to try and take it to the best of your ability. And so I was feeling really good the last weeks. You know, every time I was on the bench. training amongst the team. I was training good. And yeah, I mean, I was delighted to get my debut. You can't take these things for granted, and you have to work really hard for these opportunities. In terms of on the pitch, I thought I felt pretty comfortable. There was a few nerves in the warm up, but like it's as simple as like Lewandowski was talking to me in the warm up, and he was like, "Yeah, I'll come play on your side at the start just to help you get into the game," you know. So he was always in the left pocket when I was playing out wide. So it was really nice just to have someone like that say that to you and come and help you just get into the game, you know. And I played simple when I first got there, when I first got on the ball, and I tried to work as hard as possible. And yeah, I mean, I felt very comfortable out there.
Thank you.
So next question from News Talk, please.
Sarpreet, Alex here. How much of the Wellington Phoenix have you been watching, mate? Obviously, the A-League is humming, and the Phoenix, albeit not so much since COVID, the restart, but have been doing really well.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't been watching games as such, obviously. With the time zones and stuff, it's not always so simple. But I always keep up to date with the highlights, especially out of Wellington, because I have a lot of close friends that play there. And yeah, I mean, they're doing really well. They're having an exceptional season. And to be honest, I'd back them to go all the way now. Obviously, with the restart, I think it takes some time to get back into rhythm and play games. But I think come finals time, for sure, they're dangerous, you know. Every time they play, they look a good side, and they're well drilled. So yeah, I'm delighted for them, and I really hope they can win the title. I think that'll be huge for the fans back home, especially. So for me, I'd love to see that, and I'm sure I'll back the boys any day of the week to bring it home.
So, Michael Burgess again. You talked about your learning and your development. It's a big leap from the A-League to the Bundesliga, but you've made it very well so far. Have you, in a way, been surprised by your progress so far? And the second part, what areas of your game do you think you've developed the most?
Yeah, I mean, I think even when I was in New Zealand, I always believed in myself, and I think, yeah, sometimes people doubt you, or sometimes people make comments, but I think it's important that you never let that get to your head. But for me, I think I always knew that technically I could compete at a very high level. You know, you can't say you can technically you can compete at Bayern, but like when it happened, and as soon as it happened, and for me from day one, like I was welcomed here, and I felt comfortable. You know, it was so nice that I was able to go on pre-season with them and things like that. And as soon as I got there, I started to show what I can do, you know. And I think that's the most important. Like you have to take your opportunities when they come, because they won't come often, or you may only get one chance, and it's important that you take it. So you have to be ready, and to be ready, you have to prepare yourself for that. Yeah, I mean, the biggest improvement for me, I think, has been my body, and how my body works and how it functions to be a proper footballer. And I think my body's still developing, and it'll still continue to get better and better. But to be in this environment, to be able to do that, you have the best trainers in the world. So then it comes down to you how much you want it. You know, if you want it bad enough, they'll help you do that. But I think, for me, like from a technical point of view, I think I was able to like fit in perfectly fine, and but it took time for me to get my body up to scratch, and I still believe there's a long way to go for that, but I can see improvements, and it's changing constantly, you know, and I feel very fit, healthy, and strong, and I think that's the most important thing. So yeah.